Do you have a 401k that has company stock in it or an employer-sponsored plan that you own company stock in? Do you know how to tell if you have too much? Many of us can agree that it could be a very great way to get compensated or participate in a company, but there also could be some drawbacks or maybe some negatives about having too much in company stock. Watch this video and find out more. Welcome to the channel. For those of you that are stopping by for the first time, I'm Logan Sadler, the host of the Financial Beat. And for those of you that stop by each week, we appreciate the support. For those of you that haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe and follow along for all of our videos. Again, we upload here weekly for you. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about company stock. Now, many of the clients that I deal with as they're approaching retirement, this does become a very big centerfold for what we're covering. Many of you out there, whether you work for big companies or small companies, you might have access to a 401k or some type of employer-sponsored plan that might allow you to buy company stock. Now, this could be a great benefit package and a great way to maybe enhance your compensation. And many of these have done extremely well over the last decade or multiple decades, depending on how long you've been there, and have really added to a lot of your net worth. I've seen it here by meeting with a lot of you that work for Apple, Microsoft, Google, Costco, a lot of these big companies that have done very, very well, and a lot of you have done very, very well. One of the things I wanted to really bring to attention here is how good these can be, but also some of the drawbacks or things to really be paying attention to. Number one, many of you that I meet with, you'll come in and I will see a major lack of diversification. A lot of us, we've all been told, right, since we first started investing, our grandma or grandpa or our dad or mom, brother, sister, whoever, they told us do not put all your eggs in one basket. However, when I see people come in here sometimes for their reviews, we'll go over their risk analysis of their portfolio and their overall net worth. I will see a large portion of their overall assets in company stock. I've seen 90%, 80%, 70%, 50%, whatever number you want to throw out there. I have seen it. So you want to make sure that is a very big drawback to diversification. You want to make sure you're not having too much in one asset class or one company. Number two is sometimes we might not be able to see as clearly when we're working for that company, right? Sometimes when we're in the middle of it, you might say, hey, I know my company better than anybody. I work there, which a lot of that can be true. And there's a lot of truth to that. But also, are you sure you're thinking 100% unbiased, right? Are you looking at this from an investing standpoint or from an employee standpoint as far as how much, how the confidence in the company is going to be going long term? That's number two. Number three is once we identify that, that's one of the main things, is identifying how much we have in company stock, and is it too much? If so, what are my options? You always want to make sure you're consulting with a professional to understand the ins and outs, because some of this taxes might play a role, or sometimes you could just reallocate it right there in the 401k, and helping really have an identification of what is the right amount in company stock, and also where else should we be putting that money if we're getting out of company stock? Where would be some of those benefits? And like I mentioned, there's a lot of positives that come out of having employer-sponsored plans that you get to participate in company stock. The big thing is you've heard of companies like Enron. We've heard of companies like Lehman Brothers, which was more recent, like 2008 timeframe, where we've seen some of these great companies are very solidified companies that have done well for long periods of time. Not all of a sudden, right? And the biggest reason, if you take anything away from this, is understanding these three concepts. One is your paycheck is tied to that company, right? Two, your health insurance, your benefits are tied to that company. And three, if you have your employer 401k or things like that, your retirement is tied to that company. So you want to understand those three risks that are going to run by having maybe too much invested in employer stock, and really identifying how much is the right amount for you based off your situation. So hopefully you found that valuable. And again, those of you that have been stopping by each week, appreciate the support. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe and let us know some other videos in the comments that you might want us to do at a later date. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.